Hi friends, welcome back to the Saffron Box. This is Yamini Sharma and today I'll be talking about the hot and happening month of June 2024. Right, so this is a hot and happening month. Climatically, we can see, weather-wise, we can see this is a year of unprecedented heat, and I hope this month brings in some relief, right? And it's hard taking care of yourself. It's hard to work on your full efficiency when the heat waves are so strong. So I hope you all are taking care of yourself, staying hydrated first of all, not wasting water on things which can be avoided, right? Like washing your cars every day with water, wasting too much of water, letting your leakages go unattended. So all these things are to be avoided as a responsible citizen. And astrologically speaking, when you waste water, you're basically damaging your moon, damaging your chandrama, right? So moon represents water, moon represents the water element. Moon also represents your emotions, right? So when you waste water, you're basically damaging your moon, you are wasting your emotions, you are inviting the bad effects of moon, so to say. You may be damaging your relationship with your mother in the long run, right? So water conservation, if you conserve water, if you use water very mindfully as a responsible individual, actually you don't need to do too much of other remedies when it comes to moon, right? So this is a very practical thing. Do not waste water, especially when there are so many people around the world who don't get clean drinking water. So see, around you in every city also there are certain parts where people are struggling to get drinking water, right? So that is something which we definitely need to take care of. And when you do this, by default you're working towards the, you're doing a remedy for moon, right? So I hope people take a note of this and be mindful, be careful while using water. And apart from that, the elections are happening, the voting is almost over, the results will be out very soon. So this is a hot and happening month for India as such, right? It's the biggest democracy. So a lot of political debates and lot of emotions flowing here and there, as we all see on social media, on the TV, etc. So one piece of advice, if you can take it or leave it, is that when all this is happening, do not get over involved, right? I see a lot of people getting over involved in these things. Right, you have a vote, exercise it. You are free to bring up issues. It's a it's a free country. You can bring up issues, you can raise your concerns, but trying to influence others with your opinion or being too involved in all these political debates also does not do too much of doesn't bring too much of positive effects to your planets, right? So do get involved, but to a certain degree. Don't waste your emotions. You'll again be wasting or damaging, or rather harming your moon, right? So whatever is necessary, everything has a limit, but it doesn't apply to everybody. But I see a lot of people getting too involved with either side, with whatever they are voting for or whatever issues they have. I mean, it's sometimes too overwhelming to see people like this wasting their emotions sometimes, at the cost of damaging their personal relationships. I see people debating too much, wasting their time and energy, right? So everything has a way and has a time and space to be brought up, to be discussed, and then you put a stop to it then, rather than being there all the time, listening to news all the time, listening to each and everything, especially people who are relatively free, right? So if you are not busy with work, if you have a lot of free time in your hands, this is what I see a lot of people doing, and I think this is something which should be avoided, right? So keep everything within reasonable limits, and you do not waste your time, that is Saturn. You do not waste too much of mental activity, that is Mercury. And you stay focused on your own work, because when you progress, or when you are sorted mentally, you can take care of a lot of things. But when you are jumbled up, when there's too much of information, too much of emotions here and there, and sometimes unnecessary, you are not able to, focus on the things which you should focus on, right? So I hope it makes sense. This is just my 2 cents on what I feel, what I see going around. So anyhow, so this month, let's see what kind of transits are happening, and then accordingly, as I usually do, I'll go sign wise and I'll talk about all the signs. I'll talk about the indications, the possibilities which all the ascendants, all the lagnas have. So remember, keep your ascendant or the rising sign, which means the sign which is there in the first house of your birth chart, of your Janam Kundali, right? So check that. A lot of my viewers are very much aware of all this, and these days a lot of people are aware of their proper Vedic charts. So keep that ascendant in mind, and thereafter listen to the predictions. It will work better. And also keep in mind that no magic happens with transits. Something which is not promised in your natal chart, something which the dashas are not indicating, will not get delivered in transits, right? So keep that golden rule in mind. I think, I don't know how many times I have repeated this, and I always feel that it's my duty, it's my responsibility towards my viewers, towards my subscribers, to say this, put this as a disclaimer, and then go ahead, so that it's very clear to everybody what I mean to say, and what I plan to talk about with my monthly predictions or my monthly analysis of the transits of planets, right? So this month we see Mars staying in the sign of Aries, its own sign. Throughout the very month, Mars is going to be transiting through the sign of Aries. It is its own sign. It is sitting powerfully over there. It's its mole trikon sign as well. So that's about Mars. Then we see Venus moving into the sign of Gemini from the sign of Taurus. Mercury will also be moving into the sign of Gemini, and so will Sun. So first Venus, then Mercury, and then Sun will be moving into the sign of Gemini, moving out of Taurus, and we'll see this 3-planet conjunction in Gemini, a very interesting sign, so to say, mercurial sign. So here Mercury gets strength, Sun is in a friendly sign, Sun gets strength, and so does Venus. So I see it as a pretty good conjunction happening in the sign of Gemini. Now again, depends on where the sign of Gemini is in your chart, what does it hold for you. But overall, this does bring a lot of focus on communication. It brings a lot of focus on social media, on interactions, on debates, because Mercury is the planet of speech, of communication, of logic, of debating, of analyzing things, counting things. So you know what I mean. The season is of elections, right? So here there's a lot of talk about the government, talk about the opposition, about elections, about all the things which are surrounding us, right? So you see at this very time what kind of a effect is brewing up, right? So the sign of Gemini is quite empowered, especially in the second half of June, right? So once the whole election fever is done and over with, then a lot of things, people joining hands, alliances happening, all these things will come together when this conjunction happens, right? Then we have Saturn becoming retrograde on the 30th of June, which is the last day of the month. I'll be making a separate video of retrograde Saturn and the effect on all the 12 signs, right? So these are the major transits. Jupiter has moved into the sign of Taurus, and I have made a video on that. I'll be attaching the link in the description section also. So we know Jupiter is going to be there for an year. And apart from that, we have Rahu in the sign of Pisces, Ketu is in the sign of Virgo, and that's about it, right? So now let's talk about all the rising signs, all the ascendants, and what does this transit look like? What are the effects which can be seen with these transits? So going with the first sign, that is Aries. Now for Aries, Mars is in the ascendant itself, in the rising sign, in the first house itself. So this gives a lot of impetus, a lot of push to you as such. You feel very confident. You feel very, strengthened physically. Either you have been taking care of your body, taking care of your physique, taking care of your health, right? And otherwise as such, you feel that now you are in charge, because Mars, the Lagnesh itself sitting in the Lagna, empowers the Lagna. So you feel like doing things, you feel like going ahead, you feel energized. It's like, when the Lagnesh is coming back to the Lagna, it's like a time of recharge. The batteries are getting recharged. So the Lagna is getting recharged here, right? So here a lot of people will feel, motivated enough to do new things, motivated to take up more physical activities, spending their energy, looking after their body, looking after their health. All these things will happen. You may also feel a little too headstrong sometimes. So pushing your views, pushing your opinions on others may also take place. So make sure, there's a very thin line between being a little assertive and then crossing that boundary off and becoming aggressive, right? So very thin line between assertion and aggression. So make sure that you don't cross that line, because Mars in the Lagna will make you do so, will give you ample, opportunities to become a little aggressive, especially in your relationships, because Mars directly aspects the 7th house, it aspects the 4th house and the 8th house. So your relationships, your spouse's family, your home environment, all these are getting affected. So make sure that aggression does not spoil your environment at home. Apart from that, Mercury is moving out of Taurus, going into the sign of Gemini, and then later into the sign of Cancer by the end of the month. Jupiter and Sun are together. Jupiter, Sun and Venus are together in the 2nd house of wealth, of family, money, joint assets, etc. So here, money wise, financially, this is going to be a good time for the Aries ascendant. Luck will favor you. Your father may favor you. You may stand to gain from your father. You may stand to gain from your family business or family assets. Family finances will be in a good state. Some of you may also look at some inheritance, right? So some inheritance money can come to you. So make sure that your relationship handling is good, right? So you don't get aggressive. You are able to handle your relationships properly, and this month shall see you through properly, right? So financially it's a good time. Work wise it's a good time. Professionally you get to, you're energized, you can do a lot of stuff, you stand to gain. Second half of the month also you will see a lot of activity, a lot of communication with your siblings, maybe journeys across to your siblings, meeting old friends, socializing around. Those who are in the social media space also get to be very active, and you find yourself being too productive in the second half of the month, right? So journeys can happen. A lot of time and resources could be spent on entertainment. So this is anyways the holiday season for a lot of you. Time to enjoy, time to see things around you and bond well with people around you, right? So overall this is a good month. The key is to manage your aggression, manage your aggression in relationships, in your marriage, and handle your spouse properly. Then moving on to the next sign of Taurus. So if you are a Taurus ascendant, we see Jupiter has made an entry into your ascendant. Jupiter is there. Venus, the ascendant lord, is in the sign of Taurus and will move out into the 2nd house, that is Gemini, by the middle of the month. Mercury is right there. So we have Sun, Jupiter, Venus, Mercury, a lot of planets in the 1st house, lot of activity for you, a lot of engagement for you all around, a lot of communication, focus on, getting back to doing things the way you like, right? So for Taurus people, things have been a little off, especially in the last few months, and now you'll see that things are coming together. And a lot of other effects will also show once Saturn becomes retrograde by the end of the month. So for that, I'm anyways going to make a separate video. But Saturn, which is sitting in your 10th house, once it becomes retrograde, a lot of your pending things or whatever you had to catch up with will start happening. So there'll be a period of about 5 months where you'll get an opportunity to catch up with things which you had to do, which got left out, which are pending, right? So now is the time to recharge yourself, start looking at your future plans. Money wise, this is a good month. You stand to gain. Relationship wise, or especially if you ask me, in terms of people who are looking at matchmaking, you're looking at getting married soon, Jupiter and Venus both are aspecting the 7th house. This is a good indication. Even after Venus moves out of the ascendant, Jupiter is going to continue aspecting the 7th house, and so will Saturn with the 10th aspect. A lot of Taurus people, Taurus ascendant people, if your dasha is running right, if it qualifies for you, if you're in the right age and stage and you're looking at getting married, I think a lot of people are going to get married in this coming year, right, while Jupiter is here. So good chance for that. Work on this, work on matchmaking, work on seeking more alliances for yourself, I would say. Apart from that, this is also a good period to see gains from property, from land. A lot of people will gain from their mother's side also, or mother will help them in their financial gains, overall strengthening their financial wealth, right? So active time materially. The 7th lord, that is Mars, which rules the 7th house, is going to be in the 12th house all throughout the month, right, and some part of July as well. This is something which you need to handle well. There could be differences of opinion with your spouse, or there could be physical distancing from your spouse. So you get to, either you or your spouse, spend some time out. There's a physical separation for some time, or if you really want to utilize this energy well, you can actually take a trip out, go out somewhere, go away from home with your spouse, right? So there's also a chance of that happening. So chances of expenditure on travel, on being away from home, so expenditure and all that will definitely increase. Overall, this is a good month. As with the Aries ascendant, where Mars was in the Lagna, here Venus is also recharging the Lagna. So overall, a good month for Taurus ascendant. Then we look at the next ascendant of Gemini. So for Gemini, as I mentioned in the very beginning, this month sees Sun, Mercury, Venus coming together. In the second half of the month, the sign of Gemini will see all these three. Right now, Mercury, which is the Lagnesh, is in the 12th house, along with Jupiter and Venus and Sun. And as soon as the second half starts, the Sun, Mercury, Venus conjunction comes to the first house. A lot of activity, a lot of communication with people around you. I would say activity, in terms of building relationships, getting in touch with your siblings, getting in touch with your old friends, all of that can be seen. Overall, your confidence levels also go up, because in the sign of Gemini, the Lagnesh Mercury also comes into the sign of Gemini. Sun also comes and Venus also comes in. So these, Mercury is friendly with both Sun as well as Venus, right? Venus is a good planet for Gemini ascendant. Sun increases effort, being the third lord. So here you make a lot of efforts towards building relationships with your children, with your family members, right? Improving your social image as well. So a lot can be done over there. All your good deeds may now pay off, right? So whatever you were doing well or whatever good stuff you have done till now, this is a time to reap the rewards for the same, right? So a period of gains. Mars, which is the 6th and the 11th lord, a malefic planet for you, for the Gemini ascendant, is in the 11th house, right? So here, if you have any blood related trouble, if you have any trouble related to muscles, etc., you need to be a little cautious, because the 6th lord is sitting sixth from itself in the 11th house. You may face health issues, right? So this aspect has to be taken care of. Health needs to be looked after well. Expenses may definitely go up for the Gemini ascendant, right? So you may spend quite a bit this month. Keep a check there as well. The second half of the month could be more happening in terms of, learning, in terms of, work wise as well. So a lot of people will see a very active second half. The first half, you definitely need to take care of your health issues. Also avoid any fights, or avoid picking up arguments in your social circle. So this is not a very great time to speak your mind in your social circle. You may end up losing friends, or you may end up damaging relationships there and damaging your networks there, right? Overall, work wise also, this is a good month for the Gemini ascendant. Then moving on to the next ascendant of Cancer. So if you're a Cancer or a Kark ascendant, Kark Lagna, this month we see Mars, which is your Yoga Karak planet, Yoga Karak Graha. It owns the 5th house as well as the 10th house, a trine and a Kendra house. So it becomes a Yoga Karak for you, and it is sitting in the 10th house itself in its own sign. So lot of strength, this position actually uplifts the chart whenever the Yoga Karak is sitting in a good position, right? So it uplifts the chart. Mars is aspecting the Lagna also, the 4th house and the 5th house also, its own house as well, right? So here I would say this is a time when you would like to take a lead at your workplace. So if you had any idea to implement, if you have any fresh ideas to pump into your organization, you want to go ahead with it, this is the right time to pitch your ideas to your seniors, or in your environment, whether you are self-employed, whether you have your own business, or whatever environment you have. This is the right time to pitch your idea, pitch for new sales, and try to come to limelight with your fresh ideas, right? So the planets are supporting you. You may find the right right opportunity, the right amount of courage to do new things, to take the lead, right? So that is something which you can definitely do. A lot of people will see real estate related matters, land issues or property related matters coming up. And this is a good time if you're looking at acquiring property, acquiring some house, land, constructed property basically. So real estate wise also, this is a great time. Mars is aspecting the 4th house. You could make some investment over there. Also Jupiter, Venus, Sun, etc. So mainly Jupiter and Venus, which are the wealth giving planets, are sitting in the 11th house. So anyway, some kind of gain is indicated, right? So this is a good time for the Cancer ascendant people, especially with these many planets sitting in the 11th house. The first half is pretty good. Whatever efforts you put in, you may see the rewards coming in soon. And a lot of you may also be dealing with foreign connections in the second half, right? So as these planets, Sun, Mercury, Venus, all these 3 planets, by the second half of June, they move into the 12th house of Gemini. A lot of foreign connections, or visits to faraway places, visits to foreign places, if it qualifies for you, may happen also. With Rahu anyways being in the 9th house, right? So Rahu is in the sign of Pisces in your 9th house anyhow. So that is anyways activating a lot of travel, a lot of foreign connections. And with this planetary movement of Sun, Mercury, Venus, there could also be a lot of chances to forge new connections. Or if you're somebody who's looking at migrating outside, this could be a chance as well, right? So this is an active month. The first week you may feel the first week of June you may feel a little unsure, but as the month progresses you'll feel more sure-footed about what you want to do. Just take care of the last week of June, where a lot of planets, all these planets would have gained strength in the 12th house. So take care, sleep properly, take enough rest. Don't let your health suffer because of work and because of too many travels and things happening around you. Then moving on to the next ascendant of Leo. So if you're a Leo ascendant, your Lagnesh, that is Sun, which is currently in the 10th house of Taurus, is going to move into the 11th house, right? So a good movement from the 10th to the 11th, that too into a friendly sign. Sun is anyways conjunct with Jupiter, which is a friendly planet, in the 10th house, and then Sun is going to further find good company with Mercury, and then Venus will also join in, though Sun and Venus are not friends, but overall Sun, Mercury, Venus together in the 11th house will bring in benefits. Your long pending desires or your wishes which you had for a pretty long time may get fulfilled materially, right? So a lot of you may also look at education opportunities, upgrading your skill sets. If you are in a creative field, you may get good chances, good connections where you can pitch your work, where you can get new opportunities. So all those things will happen. Good support, positive support from your networks, from your professional circles is also on the cards. So till now, whatever hard work you were putting in, this is a time when things will start fructifying positively for you. So stay patient and wait for all these things. Continue your hard work, but let the rewards come in slowly and gradually. So this is a good time, I would say, for all those people who have been putting a lot of hard work in their ventures till now. So gains are definitely seen. Apart from that, we have Saturn in the 7th house in its own Rashi, as you all know, and Mars is in the 9th house. Saturn is aspecting Mars in the 9th house as well. A lot of people may also travel due to business connections, travel due to business opportunities, etc. Mars is also a very good planet for you. Mars is a yoga karak planet and it is sitting in the 9th house, again a good house for itself. So you may get a lot of support from your father as well, from your father, from your seniors, from your teachers, gurus. A lot of support comes to you. Also, this is a time when people who are looking at higher education opportunities, right? So students, if you're a student you're still studying, you're looking at getting into a good institute, etc., I think this is a time when those opportunities may come knocking, right? So good time, busy times for the Leo ascendant. A lot of you may also see some windfall gains, as I see. Rahu is in the 8th house for you, and Sun, Mercury, Venus, 3 planets hitting the 11th house. So some of you may also come across some windfall gains, unearned money, right? So it could be a gift, it could be anything, a bumper, gain which you get from somewhere. So all the best, I hope you get it. Then moving on to the next ascendant of Virgo. So if you're a Virgo ascendant, a Virgo Lagna person, we see Ketu in the Lagna. We have seen the effect of Ketu being in the Lagna for so long. It's been challenging for Virgo Lagnas for quite some time, right? And then we see Rahu in the 7th. This month we see Mars sitting in its own house in the 8th house, right? Sitting in its own sign in the 8th house. Mars is a first-rate malefic for the Mercury, for the ascendant of Virgo, for the Virgo rising. right? So here Mars is sitting in its own Mool Trikon sign in the 8th house all throughout the month. First word of caution, take care of your health. If you have issues related to BP, blood, muscles, overall your vitality issues are hit, you have any such issues, take care of yourself. Do not get too adventurous and get into risky activities, right? Be careful around fire, be careful around electrical appliances or electricity, right? So it could be a minor shock, it could be cuts, anything which can cut, which can bleed. These things have to be taken care of, right? So for Virgo, please take care of all these things. Please take care of your health and stay away from anything risky. Don't rash drive, don't try to get into any road rage, which anyways Virgo ascendant is not prone to, because they're supposed to be or rather they are actually very balanced people. They think twice before doing anything risky in the first place. But still, with the influence of other people around, sometimes people do take some risky steps as well. So that is something which you need to take care of. Also, those of you who are undergoing difficult times in their marriage, so if you are in a bad patch in your marriage, you need to take care of that. So if you're looking at separation, or if you're looking at moving away, whatever, I mean if your marriage is not working well, this may be a very important month in how the marriage goes ahead in future. So this could be a very decisive month also. So that is another indication. Take care of that. Maintain good relations with your in-laws, right? So 8th house also belongs to your in-laws, your spouse's family. So here, make sure that you don't get too impulsive and get into any altercation with your in-laws side. Also, now we see Jupiter and Venus in the 9th house. Mercury, which is the Lagnesh, is also going to be moving out from your 9th house, coming to the Kendra in its own sign of Gemini. Sun and Venus will also be there. So the second half of the month will bring in more better results, I would say, will be more positive. You'll feel more charged at work. You may get good opportunities there. You may be able to communicate better. You may be able to do any work better, be more efficient. So even if it doesn't qualify for you, like a lot of people do ask in the comment section, people ask if I'm not working, I do not go to office, but how does the 10th house work for me? How does the Karmasthan work for me? So my answer to that is, 10th house is not only your profession or your office or your organization. 10th house is basically any kind of karma which you generate. Whatever you're thinking, and what kind of karma, what kind of deeds you do, right? So here you get a good chance to do better things, work efficiently, right? Work better, think better, produce better results in whatever you're doing. Even if you are a stay-at-home mom, managing the house, managing the kids and the family, etc., you may be getting better, getting more efficient at doing your things, so you are able to keep everybody happy. You are able to manage your things well, do your duties, or do your take care of your responsibilities properly and happily, right? So Mercury will bring in those results. Good learning opportunities can also be seen, right? So if you're looking at enrolling yourself towards some course, any kind of new skills, this is a very good chance to upskill yourself, right? Be more creative, upskill, and learn new things. So this is more or less, I would say, the second half of the month for Virgo is going to be better than the first half. Your hard work is anyways, you're anyways going through a patch of working hard towards a lot of things, towards your health, towards any legal issue or any medical issue for yourself or for somebody in the family. So that anyway stays till the time Saturn is going to be in the 6th house, and very soon Saturn is going to become retrograde in the 6th house also. So it will also give you a lot of opportunity to do pending things or take care of things which you maybe have you may have overlooked earlier, right? So I'll make a video on that also very soon. You can go through that. Then moving on to the next sign of Libra. So if you are a Libra ascendant, this month we see Mars aspecting the Lagna, aspecting the 10th house, the second house, and we also see a lot of planets in your 8th house. Jupiter is anyways there. Then we have Venus, the Lagnesh, in the 8th house, and then by the second half of the month, Sun, Mercury, Venus will all move out of the 8th house, go into the 9th house. So here I would say, first of all, the Marak planet, that is Mars, is in the 7th house in its own Rashi. Take care of your health. One, whenever we talk about the Marak planet, the first thing which one should really take care of is their health, is their dietary habits. Everything includes, gets included in that. Diet, exercise, how you're managing your lifestyle, your sleep, etc. Everything. So your health in total should be managed well. Look after it. And secondly, we also see Venus, the Lagnesh, in the 8th house. So here there could be chances of dealing with some or the other underlying health issues. So it could be a old diabetes problem. If your sugar levels are fluctuating, this may be a month where you need to take care of your sugar levels. If you're prone to any such issues, if you have any recurrent UTI problem or kidney related issues, or any gynec issues for females, any recurring gynae problems, then you need to address it this very month, right? So don't leave things unattended. Seek medical advice in time, and nip any problem in the bud, right? So that is something which you need to definitely take care of. Mercury is going to go to its own house, that is Gemini, in the second half of the month, and it will get support of Sun as well as Venus, the Lagnesh. So this is a good conjunction, I would say, if you're looking at traveling. A lot of you will spend a lot of time traveling, on trips, on journeys. A lot of expenditure is also on the cards, because 12th Lord Mercury is in the 9th house, right? So expenditure either on your own travel or on travel of family members, etc. So a lot of expenditure is going to happen. A lot of you may also move out of their houses for education purpose, right? So if you finished your 12th or your graduation or something, whatever milestone you are at, a lot of people, a lot of students will move out to study higher, to go for higher studies. They'll move out of their homes. So that is also indicated. While all this is good, all this is happening, I would say Mars is in the 7th house. So apart from taking care of your overall health, please manage your aggression in the relationships between you and your spouse, between you and your boss at workplace, right? So aggression has to be managed. Do not lose it easily. Do not lose it easily. Take care of how you're speaking, how have some tolerance. It's very difficult while Mars is going to be here, but you'll need to raise your tolerance levels, and that's how you'll be able to manage things around you well. Then moving on to the next sign of Scorpio. So for Scorpio, we see the Lagnesh, that is Mars, sitting in the 6th house all throughout the month and some part of July as well. So, and then the 7th house is crowded: Jupiter, Sun, Mercury, Venus, etc. And then second half of the month we also see Sun, Mercury and Venus conjunction in the 8th house for you. So here I would say this is a month to be competitive. A lot of you may be looking at competitive exams, or being in a competitive space, or being in competition for whatever, for a job or a promotion or anything, some kind of a competition or some kind of opposition you would be seeing in this particular month. So this is a time to be charged up, look at ways and means, right ways and means to beat the competition, right? So a lot of you will be engaged in that, in doing so. And a lot of you, lot of Scorpio people would also be engaged in taking care of their health issues, right? So if you have any pending health matters, take care of it. Mars is in the 6th house, and Mercury and other planets, as I mentioned, are in the 8th house in the second half. So here Mercury going to the 8th house in its own sign, Mercury being a malefic planet for you, may give rise to health issues, especially issues related to thyroid, or any kind of endocrine problem, hormonal issues, or nervous issues, etc., or something related to the throat region. So these issues will have to be taken care of while Mars is here. Your expenditure on your health will increase, your hospital visits can increase, but address the issues properly, right? So this may become before anything becomes a chronic problem, right? So focus on health, that is very important. A lot of Scorpio people will focus on research on subjects like astrology, learning the occult sciences, etc. This is also a good period for inheritance, if you're close to it, if you are if it applies to you. Some of you may also get inheritance. This is overall a month for you to take care of things around. Take care of whom you are communicating with, how you're communicating, who means well for you, who's who, right? So try to identify people's intentions. Try to take things with a pinch of salt, right? So do not get all pally with anybody you meet, any new connections. This is a time to take care of whom you open up to and how much, right? So don't let people take advantage of you this month. Then moving on to the next sign of Sagittarius. So for Sagittarius, you see Jupiter, which is the Lagnesh, is in the 6th house now for another year. I have made a video on this transit also. I'll be linking it in the description section somewhere. Also this month we see Mars, which is a Yogacara Graha, in the 5th house in its own sign. It's a Yogacara Graha for the Sagittarius ascendant. So is Sun, because it also holds the 9th house ownership, right? So here good condition, good situation of Mars. Jupiter here in the 6th house does give rise to health issues. So if you are somebody who's careless towards their health, towards their lifestyle, towards their eating habits, etc., you need to pull up your socks, right? So take care of your health, very, very important. And by the in the 6th house we see Jupiter, Venus, etc., all these planets. But by the second half of the month we'll see Sun, Mercury and Venus coming to the 7th house and aspecting the Lagna as well, right? So this will be a time to time of gain from relationships. So new and old relationships which you have, you'll gain partnerships, you'll gain at workplace. So your new connections will help you acquiring more opportunities at work, gaining better opportunities, gaining more popularity at work, or in your space, whatever qualifies for you, whatever kind of work you're doing. So it is a positive transformation, I would say, right? So positive changes are going to come your way. Hard work is definitely going to increase, needless to say, because Jupiter is sitting in the 6th house anyways. So your hard work towards your health, your hard work towards your work is anyways going to be a constant factor throughout this period of 1 year, while Jupiter is here in the 6th house and Saturn is there in the 3rd house. So these two planets are anyways going to make you work hard towards whatever you do. So you put in 120%, 140%, and then you get somewhere close to 80% of results. So be prepared for hard work, be prepared for a lot of patience and perseverance towards your goals, right? Those of you who are looking at gains from property, acquiring new property or selling off real estate, making money there related to property, etc., this will be a good month. Mars is in a good condition, good position in the 5th house. This is also a good time to pray to your deities, get involved in spiritual sadhana, etc. Mars is the 12th lord. and the fifth lord sitting in its house, in the fifth house. So a lot of mantra siddhi, a lot of karm kand you get into, or a lot of spiritual practices you want to get into. This is a very good time, a very good month for you to utilize your intelligence properly, right? So whatever mental activity you have, with Sagittarius ascendant anyways being a Jupiterian sign, a lot of mental activity, a lot of intellectual work you'll find people doing, right? So here Mars also gives that boost to your creativity, your mental space, how you're putting your ideas together. So you can start off with a new venture. Those of you who are writing, who are into writing, who are into media, etc., may also start new venues, start expanding their work. So a lot of good times ahead, but take care of your health and just be ready to slog it out, I would say. This is a blanket thing for Sagittarius ascendant for the next 1 year. Then moving on to the next ascendant of Capricorn. So if you're a Capricorn ascendant, your Lagnesh, that is Saturn, is in the second house. By the end of the month, on 30th of June, Saturn will become retrograde, and I'll talk about those effects also in a separate video very soon. But Saturn is sitting in the house of finances, in the house of family, in the house of your speech, etc. Money wise also, since Saturn has come into the second house, Capricorn ascendant has become a little comfortable, and I've seen this personally in my consultations. Capricorn ascendant people have had tough issues, some difficult times with relation to money till about 1 or 2 years back, and now things are gradually improving for them, right? So money wise you are comfortable with Saturn being here. That's going to be there. And you also see Jupiter, Venus and Sun together in the fifth house for the first half of the month, and then Sun, Mercury and Venus come together, come to your sixth house. The first half of the month with Jupiter, Venus, etc. being together and aspecting the 11th house could be a time of gains, could be a time of financial gains, material gains, or something which you wanted to do for a very long time. You get to do that. You see a positive period for yourself. But as the second half approaches, with the conjunction of Sun, Mercury and Venus, especially in the sign of Gemini, Mercury being there in its own sign in the sixth house, this could take your focus towards your health, or towards health of your family members, or your father's health also in certain cases. So take care of your father's health in the second half. You will need to take care of his health, or in case you have a patchy relationship with your father, this is a time to mend your relationship with your father as well. Spend more time, make sure that there's some positivity in your relationship with your father. That is very important. Also, those of you who are busy with some legal issues may also find this to be a busy month, right? So some progress or some activity may happen with you or your opponent. Some issues may progress, some traction will take place in your legal issues. You may spend time and money over here as well, so be watchful there. Also this month, avoid any kind of government fines, right? So whether it's a overspeeding ticket, whether it's a traffic challan, etc., some kind of fine or penalties can come your way. So make sure, there is an indication, there's a possibility of that. Make sure that you don't get into any kind of a situation like that. Work wise, this month you will be loaded. This is a month of extreme hard work, you being loaded, and you'll have to perform to the maximum of your efficiency, maximum capability, right? This is a very busy month for the sign of Capricorn with respect to work, with respect to their profession, etc. as well. Then moving on to the next sign of Aquarius. So if you are an Aquarius ascendant, Saturn, which is your Lagnesh, is in your first house itself. And Saturn is going to become retrograde in the in the last day, on the last day of June, that is 30th of June, right? So I'll make a separate video on that as well, but Saturn is going to become retrograde. So a lot of things which have been pending for a long time, Saturn is going to take you back to those things as well. But apart from that, we also see Mars in your third house of responsibilities, of initiative, of parakram, right? So here new initiatives may be taken, new ideas can come, you can work towards new objectives. Hard work will anyways increase with Mars being here in the third house, right? Apart from that, we have Jupiter and Venus, Sun aspecting the 10th house from the 4th house. Jupiter Venus conjunction is there in the 4th house. So gain from property, gain from land, real estate, all these things is on the cards. Gain from your mother's side or from your mother being a very important factor in your gains, in your financial gains, may also be there is a high chance of that as well. By the second half of the month, Sun, Mercury and Venus will form a conjunction in your 5th house, which is the sign of Gemini. So here you'll see a lot of activity, a lot of involvement with children. Those of you who are looking at conception, who are looking at planning a family, may also think about it, may see things progressing that side as well. Apart from that, people who are in the creative fields will find themselves very busy. So Mars is in the 3rd house, and here you have Sun, Mercury, Venus, Mercury specifically in the 5th house. So creative pursuits, learning opportunities. If you're a student, then the way you engage, the way you learn things can get better. You can come across a good teacher, a good learning medium, etc. All these things will happen. You'll focus more on your progeny, on your kids as well. So all these things are on the cards. Relocation because of job, because of work opportunity is also on the cards for the Aquarius ascendant, right? So apart from that, your relationship wise, this may also be a little tricky month. Be very careful in your communication with your spouse, etc., right? So spouse, business partner, both of them are seen from the 7th house. How you communicate with them, how are your words getting interpreted by them, you'll have to take care of that. So avoid any misunderstandings with your spouse or your business partner. To the last ascendant of Pisces, we see Rahu is going to be there in your ascendant all throughout. Rahu Ketu axis is in the 1st and the 7th house. We have Mars in the 2nd house of speech, of family. That is something which you need to take care of. Mars is sitting in the 2nd house, sitting strong in its own Rashi as well. This is a time to take care of how you communicate within your family, right? So be very mindful of how you're communicating, what kind of decisions are you taking with regard to your finances, with your assets. Don't be very impulsive. This could also be a period of gain from your father, right? So your father may contribute to your finances. That can also happen. Some gifts can also be expected. Jupiter and Venus are going to be conjunct. Jupiter, Venus and Sun are going to be conjunct in the 3rd house, aspecting the 9th house. So again, gain from your father is definitely on the cards, financial gains. Then Sun, Mercury and Venus come together in the 4th house in the sign of Gemini. So here a lot of activity, a lot of entertaining people at home, reaching out to relationships. This is a very good month for the Pisces ascendant to reach out to people, mend any broken relationships. Focus on your marriage also. So marriage, your in-laws, overall, this is a month to mend relationships, invite people over, work with your siblings, work well with your siblings, etc. So a good time for that. Also with the presence of Saturn in the 12th house, Saturn is also aspecting the 3rd house. There could be a lot of activities related to travel, related to also this could also be a month of spending a lot of time away from home, traveling. So a very good opportunity for you to travel along with your family members, uh, spend time in entertainment, spend time in leisure activities, right? So this is a good month for the Pisces ascendant. Sun, Mercury, Venus are also aspecting the 10th house, so you also get to see a comfortable time at your workplace as well, right? So that was all about all the 12 ascendants, and I'll see you very soon in my next video that is about Saturn being retrograde from 30th June onwards, and I'll come back with that video very soon. Until then, take care, stay hydrated and stay blessed.